Reagan really end the Cold War? The answer is no. He did do something that I don't think history is ever really going to forget. Something called the Strategic Defense Initiative. Basically, Ronald Reagan proposed this idea. It was to create an anti-ballistic missile system. The idea was to prevent missile attacks from other countries, but when we say other countries, this is the Cold War. What we really mean is the Soviet Union. Lasers and mirrors and satellite and nuclear power. It was so science fiction-y that people actually started to call it Star Wars. But I mean, really, what do you expect from Ronald Reagan? Only Reagan. SDI was definitely a fantastical idea. Its main purpose was to basically intercept projectile missiles that were traveling above the Earth to mitigate their effects before they actually hit land. It kind of sounds like it maybe could work, for as weird as it is. But one of the main problems with it was that it would have kind of violated the anti-ballistic missile treaty that was agreed on in the Strategic Arms Limitation Talks. I'm not even going to pretend that I'm not reading something over there. This stuff is complicated. And yes, Strategic Arms Limitation Talks spells salt. Because of this whole conflict, it was kind of set aside, but aside from that, there were domestic and international pressures and budgetary reasons that this wouldn't have even worked from day one. The violation of the anti-ballistic missile treaty might have sparked an international conflict, which was the opposite of what we really wanted to do at the time. SDI would have required a lot of nuclear power, and there was sort of this really delicate nuclear power balance that was going on internationally. So if we tipped the balance, that could have created more issues than it was actually solving. In the end, SDI costed $30 billion, and it never stopped a single missile in the air or on land. So it seemed like it wasted a lot of money, but it did have some kind of effect towards the end of the Cold War. Even though Ronald Reagan didn't actually end the whole conflict by himself, it was things like SDI and other pressures from the United States to have the Soviet Union keep up in the arms race that contributed to its dissolving, and ultimately the end of the Cold War. So even though we like to think that Ronald Reagan really ended the Cold War, he was more like the right guy in the right place at the right time. And I think Ronald Reagan sort of had the idea, maybe subconsciously, that SDI was kind of like a joke. But that doesn't mean that in some ways it wasn't important. Even though it wasted a whole bunch of money and didn't actually do anything, it took up like 2 paragraphs in your history textbook, so okay, whatever, I think I'm done. Oh, pro-Republicans. That's a Ronald Reagan quote. Don't get offended. Bye.